Are we live?
We're good.
So, want to make a video showing how to take apart the free turbine section from the gas generator and some of what you're going to run into inside the gas generator rear bearing. We've got a lot of engines set up here. Most of these are parts engines or ones that's been damaged during a race. Some of them are exactly what we're making this video for some friends in Scotland who's working on some engines. So this it should be the exact diffuser of the ones in Scotland. It has a different ring around the side. This is a helicopter diffuser. Doesn't have that protector ring. But the reason is the outer case is a little different from the generator or train engines versus the helicopter, where the case doesn't have that extra flange. It's actually missing that extra flange that the big case bolts onto, and we can show that over here on another engine. But to start out, so what you're going to do is take your free turbine blades off. You're going to back off all the nuts. We marked what stud they're coming off of, what engine they're coming from. You're going to basically undo your keeper, back your nuts off, be ready to go. And then you're just going to, this will be free from the diffuser. Now normally this diffuser would be bolted in with all those just like that. And obviously rear bearing and stuff would be in there. But for the case of what we're doing today, we're just going to show how to take these blades off. So once you take the nuts off, it's pretty straightforward. You're just going to slide both stages of turbine off the studs. And you'll see they have teeth to line up within gauge. Once you get them, you take them and set them off on the table, just like that. Now you have your free turbine section with the exhaust nozzle still on. Oh, I forgot to show. This is actually what holds the exhaust nozzle to the case. This section over here. So now that would be held on before you would actually put the turbine section on. So then you would just undo these. Ring. And the exhaust is going to slide right off with it. And that's pretty easy. Now your reduction gear is pretty much done for the most part. I wouldn't think of any maintenance or anything to do in here unless you're going inside the case, and everything from this point would be done inside the case, maybe other than removing these studs. And that is pretty much the short of just taking these off. To get this separated from the engine would be over here. You guys are working on. It has the bigger outer case, and the diffuser is underneath this. And that's what I was showing, is your case has an extra flange here to bolt this to, when a helicopter doesn't. Has a smaller case to hold all this together as well. So, but this is just an engine, obviously, that's still not taken apart. Now, once you get the free turbine off, you're going to be looking at the rear bearing, and this is what you showed me a picture of the other day. Is you're looking at this rear bearing, and you're going to replace this rear bearing. So we've replaced this rear bearing. This is an engine that we've disassembled and took the rear bearing out of. It still has the block, the back side of the bearing block, and the nut back on the shaft. This one is one that's just not taken apart yet. Obviously, you're going to take off these bolts, keepers, remove this, and you're going to be looking at, this would be one of these. You're just going to take that off, and you'll be looking at both of that has the nut on it and the bearing inside of it. So you're going to take the keepers out of that. I would make sure your marks all line up. Try to save your gaskets if you want, if you can get new ones. What we found was one of the biggest challenges with getting these pins out of the rods that hold the bearing block to the case, because this bearing is basically floating inside the case, held together by these rods. And our biggest challenge was getting these out. This one had to be drilled out. You can see the drill mark, but we had to drill these, get the diffuser off, drill these out to even get it to relief in order enough to slide these out. We have an engine in assembly at another shop, a shop at home, and that's the part we're stuck on, is we cannot get these to slide back in without damaging them. And we put them in dry ice, heated the bearing block, everything we can to try to get them to slide in, but we're just not successful yet. So that's going to be a challenge. If you can figure out, I would love to hear how you resolved it. But and then changing the bearings pretty easy. Obviously, check all your depth, your mic, everything. Make sure it's all seated. But this diffuser nozzle, once you get the diffuser nozzle off, you can unbolt the diffuser nozzle from the case, and it's pretty simple, straightforward. It just slides down on top of this. Ethan, can you see if you can turn this in order to get it? But that diffuser just basically sits down there. There's really nothing to it. Just sits down and you line up your holes. Pretty straightforward. Here's a turbine section that has been just taken. This section of blades to separate. Here's your blades. You'll be very careful. These little clips fall out. All the blades will come out. So you need to make sure that all the clips stay in place. Here's your stator. And the next section here. Line up all your marks from disassembly. Make sure it goes back together the same. This is a turbine section. Obviously got a little too hot. Melted the blades off. But that came from this engine here. I'll show you. This is another engine we were disassembling, but what we found is in order to separate this section here, you've got to get this section out first. We've already tried to disassemble it at the way it sits, but we went back and looked at this section from a train engine, and you can tell they have taken it all apart to get to this backside nut inside here. There should be a nut on the inside of this that has to come out before this section will slide out. Or this nut here has to come out before this section will slide and release this off. So we're kind of just been stuck here at this point with this one. We don't really have any reason to keep going with it until we need to. But it's just another example of a challenge we ran into. But you know, it's pretty straightforward on the rest of the stuff, especially the turbine section. It really just comes down to taking 5 nuts off, and they should all just slide off. I don't remember. Sometimes these have a way to push them off, but I don't see a way to push that off. But so obviously a lot of junk here, but still a lot of good usable parts if we could get over the challenges of these nuts. Keep getting the nuts off and the right torque back on, and then the bearing blocks. But these copper pins are I think going to be the hardest part to source when you change the rear bearing, because the only way to get the rear bearing block out is to remove them. It will not come out of the diffuser without removing them. And in the book, you'll see it does show you each one is in a particular lane. And they have all sleeved. Obviously, this would go first, then the bearing block, making sure your oil ducts are lined up. Oil seal, and then the cap. We do have a spare bearing here. And these are the cover plates. So to go back over here and reiterate on the engine you guys are building. In order to separate your free turbine from your gas generator, you're going to have to lose this. You also have to take this band off, and we know this because we've discussed it in the past, is back out all those from the stator inside the free turbine. And then that will just simply slide up and out. There's really nothing else holding that together. And then you have this section, and then onward to the gas generator. So I'll take some more pictures and you ready to close it off?
No, I didn't stop it.
I'll take some more pictures and document it a little bit closer, but at least there's a video for you guys to watch. And there's my lovely wife. She brought us lunch. It's hot today in Oklahoma, or humid at least.
Are you making videos?
Hmm?